at your screen for me, just as a favor. This was the very first flower that I drew. In my little 4-year-old mind, I was drawing a Shasta Daisy. I know this. The big, huge petals on the flower, and then the big, huge eye in the middle, and I would make my eye a bright, bright yellow, and then I would color the petals, and they wouldn't be white, they'd be something else. But what I thought a flower looked like was a daisy. And I'm super excited that we have these. They are, you're getting a 3-piece collection here. The Shasta Daisies, they are my pick of the show. We started the season with 6,000 and we have fewer than half remaining. And this is one of those final quantities. It is a situation where it's a sale price and the price is only here until the end of the day tomorrow. But I urge you and encourage you, as we're down to the final last clicks, put it in your cart and check out today. And the other thing is that, again, while we are down to final quantities, I don't want to make you frazzled. Yes, it's the end of April. Yes, lots of people have been thinking about their gardening for a long time. If you're like me and it felt too cold to kind of go out and look at your yard, and I just started looking at my yard and I was like, oy vey, which is really my thought. Actually, it was probably not as nice as that. What am I doing? I'm ordering like a mad woman right now because I hadn't done it yet because I wasn't quite there. But now we're there. Katie Dubow, the Shasta Daisies to me are just, they're perfect. They're like a Gerber daisy, right? Only not, because they just look like a perfect flower. What you envision a flower, what you first learned a flower was supposed to look like, that's the Shasta Daisy. And look at the lush, actively growing plant that is gonna come to your home. You're gonna receive 3 of these. Katie, take it away because these are just so pretty.
They're so pretty. A classic flower, like you said. People have been growing daisies for years, but of course you want to know why. What's the difference?
Yeah.
What's Cottage Farms is? Why do we pick these? These white mountain Shastas are going to bloom longer for you. So you get that same beautiful, white, yellow, happy center. We're surrounded by those he loves me not petals, but for a longer period of time. And so that's why we picked the white mountain. It's going to also be this mounded shape of the mountain of flowers. So each plant in itself will produce dozens and dozens of flowers throughout that season, making it great for bringing these happy faces, cutting them, bringing them indoors, cutting them and bringing a bouquet to one of your neighbors or a family member that you haven't seen in a while. These make awesome cut flowers, but really it's just that workhorse flower in your garden. We all need those perennials that we can set it and forget it. Now, I should say, with all of our baby plants in the first year, they'll need extra care and attention. But after that, heat tolerant, drought tolerant, works for most parts of the country, and will have that longer bloom period than our traditional daisy.
I also like how dreamy the petals are when they kind of go from the center and then have a slight downward curve. There's something balletic about it. It's just lovely. And then this field, I want to run across that field with shorts on and a linen, tee and, little sandals and just be on my way to an outdoor concert. I mean, what is not to love about that optic white and that yellow center? They're so pretty. They're girly, they're feminine. There's something just really, when you picked your first bouquet, it was a Shasta Daisy, right? And then I picked yellow for a reason. Yellow makes me happy. There is such a thing as color therapy. So when you're thinking about your yard and your garden, when you look at the field of that white and that yellow, you're just gonna be brightened. As you said, throughout the show, we've talked about it being a key light for other flowers because it just lightens up. If you picked up the lilac, it will lighten that up. If you picked up the allium, right? It will make that lovely puffy Dr. Seussian ball, all of a sudden look that much more fun and whimsical.
Yeah, they really do draw your eye, especially with those yellow centers. The white flower in our garden does so much more. And you've mentioned color therapy. I'm all about any kind of therapy, but flower therapy. What is there better than looking at flowers to make us happy, particularly when you don't have to do anything but dig a hole that's this size, and then year after year, your Shasta daisies will pop up in the spring and bloom all the way through clear till fall. So it's really rewarding to be able to do that in your garden, in your backyard. And I love the wild. When you were I was visualizing you running through in that little linen dress or
Yeah.
whatever you were wearing.
Yeah.
And it really does have almost a wild feel, but these daisies will never get out of control. So they grow about 24 inches tall and wide. So 2, 4, 6 feet of space you're covering with this three-piece collection. But I loved earlier how you said, well, where do you want to put them? How much space do you need to fill? Do you want to put them in a garden bed? Do you want to put them in containers, along walkways? Just you need to do that calculation now to make sure you order the right amount to fill your garden. Please pack these densely so you can have a field of daisies like that.
I love it. 6 feet. I know exactly where I'm putting mine. 6 feet, so I can get a couple, which is great. It's a perennial, which is awesome. It means you're doing one price of $24.12, or if you want to put it on a credit card, the monthly payments of $8.04. Hey, if you have a Q card, you can bump that 3 easy payments up to 5. So go ahead and use your Q card and make it a little bit easier if you're getting, bunches. That's easy. We're through more than half of our quantities, so you haven't missed the moment. The moment is still here, but the moment is now. So go ahead and pick up as many sets as you need. If you need, one set for 6 feet or 2 because you're going to cover 12. But the other thing about it is that I love that they're perfect for cut flowers. I love that you have one in your hair. I mean, how great is that, right? It's just fantastic. And, as you're thinking, do I spend money on an annual or a perennial? Like, your perennial is bang for your buck year after year after year. And Katie, how are these going to be like next year? Like, what happens? Like, are there more blooms when I get to next year and then more after that? What happens?
Yeah, so your plant will probably take 3 years. Most perennials take 3 years to come into their own, but you will definitely get flowers this year. You'll get the foliage, you'll plant it in the ground, and within, that 60-day period, you will be seeing flowers. Next year, it will more than double, triple in size, and the following year, it will be that full 2 feet by 2 feet height and width. So you're looking at filling your garden. You mentioned the annuals and perennials. If you grab these, maybe grab some sun patience too to fill in the holes as these grow, and you'll have constant color in your garden all season. And you will not be disappointed next year when these pop up and you say, well, maybe I don't need all the sun patience this year. I only need 2. And the following year, you'll have that entire hedge or that entire meadow of the daisies that you've been looking for.
I love it. So let's do the daisies and then get those sun patience, because they'll have the explosion of other colors as well, like the 2 pinks and the lilac as well. And then also you can easily do that frothy pink that we were looking at with the lilac, and then also there was the hummingbird mints that was a little bit more purple. Yes. But again, a cacophony of color. Get the purple and the pink and the white, and then please don't miss the braided hibiscus tree, because that sunset color was just amazing. That braided hibiscus would be amazing in the middle of those Shasta daisies, actually.
Oh,
like, if just put a pot in the middle of the daisies, and then you have the hibiscus up top.
Yeah, it's like you put lights in your upright tree. That would look beautiful.
I love it. So will you remind us, Katie Dubow, of the guarantee from Cottage Farms? Because if you've never purchased flowers on TV and you're thinking, I'm a little nervous, Cottage Farms backs every single flower and plant.